test. But for sure, I'll
Yeah, and on the
stay on Wednesday evening.
you know there is one lesson we haven't had yet, 3-7.
3-7. Okay.
So I think it's the very last practice test question. That's really dependent on having that 3.7 lesson. So anyway, we'll wait with talking about that one.
Are we gonna go over 3-7 in school, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I'm going to start off on Thursday.
Okay.
Day right.
Now it looks like 3-7 logic uses the same principles
It
as
does.
truth tables and.
It relates it to electricity actually, and we're going to actually draw some minor electrical diagrams.
Okay.
It's Patrick calling me. Hang on. Hi, Patrick. Yeah, I'm up, and Brian is in the hangout. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me set which address would you like me to send the web address to? On Google Plus? I did. I sent it to Google. I sent it to all your email addresses. I say all. You gave me two of them. You gave me an AOL address, I think, and a Gmail address. Yes. So if you could open an email, see if that does it for you, and then it might look a little different because I invited in a slightly different way, but you should have an email invitation. Well, why don't I hang on? I want to just make sure you've got it. Otherwise, I can send another one. Well, how do you normally go to your? What do you use mostly? Your AOL address or your Gmail address? Okay, just open up Gmail. Okay, well, just call me if that doesn't work because I'll just send you another invitation then. Okay, we'll hang on for you. Thanks. Okay, Brian, go ahead. Patrick's going to try logging in again.
All right. I think for me the big thing is really to remember the signs, conjunction, disjunction, the inclusives, the exclusives, and all the statements that go with that.
So you can either ask questions on, some of the lessons we've had, or if you want to ask questions on the practice test, that's okay too.
Um, yeah, I think as far as the prior assignments go, we pretty well covered that.
Okay.
Um, on the truth statements, I just need to remember to do everything within the parentheses first.
Yep.
For me, it's easier to kind of write everything out. I think the one trick you showed me was if you have a negation, say P, Q, and the negation of Q, add that as a column, P, Q, negation of Q, and write that right away. So
Yeah.
visibly, you know, it's easier to see.
I think so too.
I feel pretty confident doing that material now.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Well, it pays to spend the amount of time that we've been spending in class going over it. You know, it's more the repetition because, yeah, for me, it's very visual and repetitious. I can't remember a lot of stuff unless I do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Not the old sponge I used to be, you know.
Unfortunately, we're limited a little bit because we have everything jammed in only 10 classes. But you're right. I am trying to do that. I am trying
No,
to
it's
do
been excellent. Yeah, it's been very helpful. It's a lot of material.
It is.
No, I feel pretty good about that. Just looking at like the practice test, the first question, the following, which of the following are statements? So again, a statement has to be very clear, very concise. Should not be a question.
Yeah, it can't be a question, and it can't be something, that's real flaky like today is a beautiful day.
Yeah.
You're right. So I'm gonna load up the review here because it sounds like that's the direction you're headed. So take me a few seconds, then I'll put that up on there on the screen, and then yeah. So so you're looking at the book right now on
Yes.
okay. For speaking of number one, then how would you rate A? Is that a statement?
No, because it's really an opinion.
Right. How about B?
Yeah, I don't know if 1991 was a leap year or not, but I'd have
But
to look it up.
that really doesn't matter. The point is we could check it out, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's important. You don't have to know the answer necessarily. It just has to be something that we can verify.
Okay.
I got another phone call.
Sure.
Yes, Patrick. Okay, I'm gonna send one out in as soon as I can here. I'll send it to your Gmail address. It'll be an email. Okay, sounds good, Patrick. Okay, bye. Okay, we're still dealing with technical issues. I have to send another invitation to
Okay.
Patrick.
Well, you're doing that. I'm going to grab a bottle of water.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I got my invitation sent. Hopefully we'll see Patrick here in a few moments.
All right.
Haven't heard from Valencia.
Well, it looked like she was trying to log on earlier. But
It did?
yeah, on one of the other links I was trying to get on, but maybe it was an older link. I'm not sure. I tried to log on through my Yahoo Mail. That wouldn't work, so then I had to come on through WLC, and this time it worked.
Okay.
Statements. No fish can live without water. That would be a statement. Some birds cannot fly. That's a statement. Rains today, my lawn will get wet. That would be a statement, and the last one would not.
Yeah. So you don't have any problem with that. That sounds good.
Let's see. Identify components. That's just working through forms, writing statements. That should be straightforward.
Watch it. Negations are a little bit tricky. I see in number 4. Yeah, and I've got this review file up on the screen now.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the actual review questions here. Yeah, here's number 4 coming up. Okay, let's just practice this. What do you think would be the negation of statement A?
Let's see. The negation. I will not go to the beach. Let's see. Or to the movies.
Yeah, what you got to do is think of that one like this.
And I will not go to the. I will
Yeah.
not go to the beach, and I will not go to the movies.
Right on. Yes. So here's the symbols for that. Over here on the left is basically what their question is. I will not go to the beach or to the movies. This would be the symbolization of that.
Okay.
And like you said, that's a De Morgan law. So the not goes on the B and the not goes on the M, and you have to change the or to an and that's exactly what you said.
Now, can that also be written the same way as the statement on the left, but inverting that to an and? So putting that all in parentheses with the negation on the outside.
Well, no, then it has to be written this way.
But you can't flip that.
No.
So negation
Yeah,
E and M in parentheses.
only if you do it like it is on the right side.
That's the correct way to do it.
That's the only way to do it.
That's the only way to do it. Okay.
You don't really have an option on that one.
Okay. All right. And then B, I will stay in my room. Again, I will not stay in my room, and I will not. No, let's see. I will not stay in my room, and I will not do my homework.
No.
Or you change the or.
Yeah, this time it started off as an and, right?
Right.
And so when you negate, if you look on the screen, you can see when you negate those parentheses R and H, room, stay in my room, and do my homework, then it becomes I will not stay in my room, or I will not do
or do my homework.
Yeah, so that one has to be an or.
Okay.
So every time you do a De Morgan's law, you have a reversal. But I'm going to just check on Patrick here. Patrick, I see you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I sure can. What we're looking at right now, Patrick, is some questions from the practice test. That's the one that starts on page 175. But if you want to ask questions about the assignment, we can do that in a little while. I want to see.
Okay.
I thought we'd go through. If this is what Brian wanted to go through, and I think we'll stick with that at least for the time being, and then I'll switch over to other questions.
Okay, what page was that again?
It's on page 175.
Okay, thank you.
Chapter 3, practice test. Okay, Brian, what about C?
Let's see. Pluto is not a planet. Pluto is a planet.
Yeah, that one's pretty straightforward. Yep. Very good. So just those A and B are the ones that usually trip students up because they're not thinking of using De Morgan's law. And what they almost always forget to do is to flip the or flip the and.
So let's look at C. I would know how to write it in a sentence, but when you write the negation of Pluto, is that not the same as what it says there when it says Pluto is not a planet?
This is the problem. The answer would be...
Okay.
So it's like Pluto is not a planet, the negation is Pluto is a planet. Yeah, sure. I didn't have the answer written on there.
Okay, okay. All right, that makes sense.
There's more negations in 5 and 6. Do you see that? Maybe we should let's at least look at number 5 here.
Okay.
Okay, on number 5. Okay, we haven't done these yet. How do you negate an all? All cats are felines.
No cats.
Nope, that's going too far. Remember, all you want to do is prove that all cats are feline.
So some cats are felines?
Yeah, or you could even say there's at least one cat that's not. So here's my answer. At least one cat is not a feline.
At least one cat. Okay.
I would your answer of some would be okay. The only thing I don't like about the word some is it seems to imply that there's more than one. All you really need is one to make it a lie.
Okay.
Okay, what do you think is the negation to B? Some dogs are well trained.
Could you say all dogs are well trained?
No dogs.
It's got to be none.
None?
Yeah, because first of all, what do they mean when they say some?
More than one.
They mean at least one.
Right.
And you say, oh yeah? No way, there are none. You know what I mean? You're saying, no, you don't even have one. And so the negation would be, like Patrick said, no dogs are well trained.
No dogs.
Okay? How about C? No dog is afraid of a mouse. Try to, again, think. What would it take to make that a lie?
At least one dog is afraid of a mouse.
Dogs.
Exactly. At least one dog is afraid. And there, you proved that was a lie. Okay, and then maybe the one this relates to our court case example the other day. Look at number 6, the next one. Okay, 6A. Write the negation. This is an if-then now. Do you remember how to write a negation of an if-then? Here's what you have to think about. In an if-then statement, what's the rule I taught you? How do you do the truth table?
Let's see. Again, I have to look at my notes. Only false when the first statement is true and the second statement is false.
That's correct. So the only time to negate this, you got to keep the first part the way it is, and you have to negate the second part. Got it?
Keep the first part the way it is.
And then negate the second part, as in true, false.
So if Joey does not study, then he will fail the course.
Well, that's what it says.
Then he will
not. Got to negate that. He will not. So in other words, so I'm a teacher, and I say if Joey doesn't study, he will fail the course.
If Joey studies, he will pass the course.
Yeah, but that's the original. So what would it take to make that a lie?
Well, I think it wasn't the original. I think it was not study and fail, and then if he does study and pass.
Oh, you're saying pass instead of he will not fail. Yeah, that's fine, Patrick. Yep, that was good. Yep. So here's, yeah, I said he won't fail. You said he passed. That's fine. Okay, how about B? Here's another one. If Sally studies hard, she will make an A in this course. Negate that.
If Sally studies hard, she will not make an A in this course.
That is correct. And there's different English ways to say that.
If Sally studies hard, she will not make an A in the course?
Yes, that would be exactly correct, Patrick.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good. And Brian's answer was also correct. So you guys are, of course, I gave you a big reminder before we did the problem, didn't I?
If-then statement, yeah.
Yeah, because you know what happens is people get in the test, they forget that, and then they don't remember how to negate an if-then. So you got to think of the rule. What is the only line that's false? Keep the true. If true, then false. Okay. So keep the if part the same and negate the second part. So anyway, I just wanted to particularly point out those those are things that I see students sometimes forgetting at test time.
Okay.
All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Patrick a shot at picking what he wants to ask about next. So Patrick, if you'd like to ask questions on some of the assignments I gave you or any of that coursework we've done, this is your opportunity. You can go ahead and tell me where you'd like to do that.
Okay.
Or if you want to just continue looking at this practice test, that's okay too.
I was just thinking review, yeah, because I'm going to do a lot of the work will be, starting tomorrow.
Okay.
I know I did have some problems with the when we drew the Venn diagrams with the word "some" where they overlapped.
Oh yeah, you mean yeah.
Remembering that some meant they were going to overlap. That's really what my problem was.
Can you pick any particular ones out, or should I?
It might be better if you do. I don't.
All right. I will do that. So I'm going to change the file here. So you're talking about 3.5 then. Okay, I may
Yeah.
have...
Well, I mean, just any review for me is fine. My big thing is just that I continually forgot the word some was going to mean there was going to be an overlap, but
Okay, let me...
that I recognize it means that I'm dealing with it, I guess.
Yeah, well, what you described is that sounds like perfect. Those are the problems we had learned how to do in lesson 3.5. Well, what I'm going to do is pick out, I don't know, 2, 3 examples in that, and let's just go through them, okay? So I've got it loading here. Okay, so I'll just make a new slide here. We'll do something new. How about, let's see, we did all the evens, didn't we? Okay, let's do an odd. Let's take number 9. This is number 9, Patrick, on page 151.
Okay.
Where it says, no drinkers are healthy. So, yeah. So anyway, we have drinkers and we have healthy. And because it says no drinkers are healthy, not too good at circles. Wouldn't that be 2 separate circles then?
Yes. There would be.
No drinkers are healthy. Okay, good. How about the second one? No joggers drink.
Okay.
So now I've got to draw joggers.
Joggers would be inside drinkers.
No, it says no joggers drink. That means joggers have to be outside of drink.
Okay.
So, like, I'm going to call this joggers 1. And I've drawn all the joggers. Obviously, none of the joggers drink, right?
Right.
But couldn't it also look like this?
Hmm.
And in fact, couldn't it look like this even?
Yes, I don't see anything.
You don't see any what?
Any
Nothing on the screen.
Anything that's coming over.
You're not seeing the screen?
No.
Right.
How about now?
No.
Yes.
There we go. Yep. I see it now.
Both got it. Okay. Well, now I've drawn them in, but first I drew this one, jogger 1. No joggers drink. It whiffs the drinks, right? Does that look correct to you?
Okay, so joggers 1 outside.
So my point is, if anybody was in the jogger 1 circle, they can't be in the D circle, right? They cannot be in the D circle if they're in the J circle. Okay, that's what I'm trying to accomplish. Isn't that also true of jogger 2?
Correct, yes.
And jogger 3 is still missing circle D.
You're correct. So that would be proven then?
Well, I don't know. Now let's
Yeah.
look. Now let's look at the conclusion. Okay, what's the conclusion? No joggers are healthy. Is that true in J1?
Um,
No joggers are healthy. Is the J1 circle outside of the H circle?
it's outside.
So that it's true in that case, correct?
Okay.
How about J2? Are
Well,
all
there's
joggers outside of the healthy?
well, there's partially unhealthy.
Yeah, so you can't say no joggers are healthy with J2. Do you see that?
Yes.
And you can't do it with J3 either. So it's true in one case, it's false in the other two. So what is it? Valid or an invalid conclusion?
It'd be invalid then at that point.
That is correct. Okay. This is kind of a strange one, but let's do this one. I'm going to do number 15 next. You guys still see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, number 15. No mathematics teacher is wealthy. How true? There's the mathematics teachers. There's the wealthy people. Is that picture correct for the first premise?
Okay.
Patrick, does that look right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess they can't be.
I mean, if you're in here, you can't be over there, right?
They can't. I mean, they can't connect it anyway at that point.
That's the idea. So this picture is a correct picture of the first premise. Okay, what's the second premise? This is weird, but
No Panthers teach math.
no Panthers teach math. So I got to draw a Panthers circle that misses the MT circle.
Right.
So
it's
similar to last time, I
outside
could do
of
it.
that.
I could do it there.
Okay.
Panther 1. You know, just like before, we'd have that, and then we could even draw a bigger one here, right? All my P circles miss the math teacher circles, correct? And that's what the second premise tells me.
Again, we always draw two P circles, but why do we intersect it with the wealthy?
Because we don't know about that. There has been no statement about the wealthy.
Okay, so we make
All
the
we
assumption
know is-
that it may intersect.
All we know is P whiffs MT.
Okay.
Well, don't. Here, now I got 3 of them. Don't all 3 of those P circles miss the MT circle?
Yeah.
Yep, so all 3 of those are possible based on the second premise. Now let's look at the conclusion. They claim the conclusion is no Panthers are wealthy. Well, is that true with these Panthers down here?
True.
True.
Yeah. Is it true with P2?
No.
Not true.
Yeah, and it's not true with P3 either. So again, this is almost identical type of the one we just did. This has to be invalid.
Hey, Ron, I'm lost. Where do you come up with the P3 circle?
Well, doesn't it miss the MT circle?
Well, sure, but why
Well-
why did we draw that circle? What does that represent?
It represents Panthers. What I'm showing you with 3 circles is there are 3 ways to accurately portray Panthers.
Well, that P3 basically does not connect with the W in any way. So that's the meaning behind P3. Don't touch W. It don't connect at all. So it's correct then in that regard.
Well, you say it doesn't connect, but Patrick, in that third circle, P3, it's swallowed up all of W.
Yeah. See, once in a while I forget that too. Okay.
Well, I know. That's why I'm showing you. You're right. That's not easy.
Like the 2 things I forget are very important, obviously.
What I'm trying to show you is you need to consider all the possible ways that that statement could be true. And in all three of these black circles, I have followed the directions and made no Panthers teach mathematics. Okay, and because otherwise, if I was real lazy, I could have just drawn this one and said, "Oh yeah, it's valid. Panthers aren't wealthy." But when I consider the other two circles, I can see it would be false in both those two. So because it's not always true, it's got to be invalid. So, it's kind of like, I know you guys, I'm sure you don't watch soap operas.
No.
But have you ever, if you ever watch them, you notice it's almost like the theme is whatever you do, don't tell the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't you dare tell that woman that you're dating that you've already dated her daughter. Or what stupid stuff they come up with on those soap operas, okay? So it's like technically they're telling true statements, but they're leaving out. They're not telling you all the details. So like in this second, what do you call that, premise, where it says no Panthers teach math, you notice how it didn't tell us a thing about wealthy? In that line, it doesn't say one thing about wealthy people, right? So I've got to consider all the possibilities.
So again, the first two circles were independent math teacher and wealthy.
Right, and then these two are in P and MT are independent, but they didn't tell us about P and W.
But the second line, no Panthers, that's the P1.
Well, no, that's all three. That's P1, P2, and P3. In all three of those, no Panthers teach math. Do you see that?
Will there always be three circles that you draw to?
No. You just got to try to think of how could this be true in different ways.
Okay.
And all three of these ways would make it true. Now, why did I draw them differently? So that I wouldn't miss. If I would, like I said, if I was lazy and I just drew this P1, I would think, hey, this is valid. The P's aren't in the W. Yeah, it's a good conclusion. But if I look at the other possibilities, I quickly see, oh no, that wouldn't be true.
Okay.
So you got to kind of not leave any stone unturned when you're doing it.
Try all the different scenarios.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. Then I'm just gonna repeat one. Let's do number 16. I know I did this in class last time, but all hippies have long hair. Okay, so that means hippies.
It's one circle.
Have to be surrounded by.
Long hair.
Yes, all hippies. So in other words, if you're a hippie, you've got long hair. Okay, that's the first premise. The second one, some athletes are hippies. So now we got to draw the athlete circle.
So that intersects with the hippie circle.
So we could call that athlete 1. Right?
Right.
Couldn't it also look like this?
Some athletes are hippies and have long hair.
Well, just the point is, I shouldn't have called that H. The point is, I should draw my A circle so it partially crosses the H circle. Did I do that?
Yes.
That's what you got to be thinking. Okay, now look at the conclusion. Do some athletes have long hair?
Yes.
In both circles, it's true, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, using an Euler diagram, then this is valid. So again, I tried drawing the athlete circle in more than one way so that but it still has to cross over the H circle. So I did in both cases. And the second case, I did it in a different way because I wanted to consider all the possibilities.
Wouldn't a possibility be an athlete that doesn't have long hair? Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be outside of the circle, though?
Right, but doesn't it say some athletes have long hair?
Right. So the way you drew it indicates that some.
If it said all athletes have long hair, this one would have been true, right?
Yep.
But this one is not. So if the conclusion had been all athletes have long hair, we would have said invalid.
Okay.
But some athletes have long hair. Let's see. Do some of these athletes have long hair? Yep. All of them do. Do some of these have long hair? Yep. All these guys in here. So it's true in all the cases we can think of. So again, you have to think, how could this look? Is there another way it could look? I don't think there's a third one in this case. I can't think of a third way to draw it. So in this case, we only needed two. So somebody asked me, do you have to always draw 3 circles or 2?
Yeah.
There is no nice hard rule on that. You just have to think through, is there any other way I could draw that athlete circle so that it crossed over H? I don't think so. I think we've got it covered. Okay, so I don't know, Patrick, you want to pick another one out, or?
Well, I mean, just any review is going to be helpful for me, I guess.
Yeah, the more we do, huh? Okay. Well, let's do one more. How about 24? This is on the next page. Okay, 24. No Southerners like freezing weather. So, separate circles.
Two circles.
There, yep, there's our Southerners, and we'll call this LFW, like freezing weather. Right? No Southerners like freezing weather. They don't touch. Okay. The second premise is Joe likes freezing weather. So where is Joe?
That intersects. Oh, it's inside, huh?
Yeah, this is an individual. Joe likes freezing weather. So he's somewhere in this circle, right?
How do we know when to draw a circle as opposed to just putting the X in there?
Because it's talking about one person.
Okay, so 1 means X.
I mean,
Okay.
if it said, I don't know, gray-haired guys love freezing weather, you know, something general, then I would have had to draw a circle for gray-haired old-timers.
Okay.
But because it's Joe or you or I or, you know, something singular, that's when you just locate somewhere on the diagram. X marks the spot.
All right.
Now, what about the conclusion? We got some nice feedback in here.
Yeah, so then the X goes outside of Southerner.
Well, what do you think about the conclusion? Is Joe not a Southerner?
Joe is not a Southerner.
Here's Joe.
Right.
So what do you think? You agree?
It's a valid statement.
You bet. Exactly. So that one actually is kind of easy. Should we do, let's do 26. One more.
Okay. Some students do well in history.
So here we have a sum. So what's our general plan for two circles now?
They intersect.
Yeah, exactly. So this is our students circle, and this is our do well in history circle. And you're right, they cross each other, something like that. Okay, how about the second part? Bobby failed history.
So I would say Bobby is outside of the history circle, so he's going to be an X outside of history.
Okay. Well, where else could he be? I stuck him off.
He could be a student.
Exactly. He could be in either one of those two places, correct?
All right.
So now look at the conclusion.
Bobby is not a student, so then I guess we take him out of the student circle.
No.
No?
The diagram is correct. So what do you think about the conclusion? If
I'm sorry.
if this is a correct diagram, what do you think of their conclusion?
Bobby is not a student. Invalid. Yeah.
It's invalid because he might not be, and he might be. So
Right.
unless it's true in every case, it's invalid.
Right.
Okay. So Patrick, you were the one that started this. Do you want? I don't know, or either one of you. Do you want to do any more on this 3.5 lesson?
I think I'm good.
I think I'm all right here.
So at least we have what, about 4 or 5 more additional examples tonight. You're right. It's almost like you have, the more you do, the more it becomes a part of you. And we're still not done. We're going to be reviewing on Thursday night too. So, excuse me.
Okay. Uh, 3.6. I think I'm pretty good on the truth tables.
Yeah, I think those are. I think I like those better than the diagrams because you don't have to wonder, should I draw another circle or not? The truth tables don't leave that little bit of a doubt there. So, on the other hand, these things are pretty quick to solve the problem. Doesn't take as long as doing a truth table. So there's advantages to both. And you need to be able to use both techniques.
Sure.
I guess you guys haven't done a lot of the homework, so I don't know.
I've not even had a chance to look at it. I've got one other class going on, and I had to write a paper.
And then you got life going on.
Yeah. I don't have a life. It's just homework.
That was an invalid assumption on my part. That you guys have a life.
No life, just school.
I plead guilty on that one. I shouldn't have assumed that.
All right.
Do you want a reminder? Don't forget, when you get to number 23, they switch over to those chain reaction problems. You remember that? We talked about that last week.
Chain reaction. Let's see. For which lesson?
3.6.
3.6, yeah. My notes I had, see, do practice test 175. 1 through 21, do the odds, use the truth tables.
Yeah, and then starting with 23, you've got some chain reaction problems.
Okay.
There's just that little group of 6 right there. I think, well, yours are what, 23, 25, and 27. Should we look at, like, should we do 26 on that one?
3.6, number 26.
So this is number 26 on page 165.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what we're given. If P, then not Q. If R, then Q. And R. And you're supposed, those are all premises, you're supposed to come to a conclusion. Well, if these are chain reaction problems, they do not chain right now. Okay.
Right, it should go.
I mean, no, you're normally supposed to have, you know, this one should be the same as this one. These two should link together. You know, like if P then Q, if Q then R, if R then S.
Right.
Yeah, they chain, the Q's and the R's match.
Yep.
Conclusion is if P then S. Do you remember those guys?
Yep.
Okay. Well, this isn't right now. We can't do that because we don't have these links. So we got to rewrite. We got to do some rewriting. What can we do to rewrite this one? This if P then not Q. There's no other knots on the Q's. So how can we? What can we do? Can't we use the contrapositive?
Yeah. So the use if Q.
If not this one, then not that one. Well, what's not Q?
It's just Q. And the negation of P.
And this one we can leave the way it is, but let's put it up on top.
R then Q.
See how the Q's match now? If R, then Q. And if Q, then not. You see how these link?
Yep.
So now, what's the intermediary conclusion? If R,
Then P.
then not P. See, here, what was the conclusion? If P, then S, right? So here, it's if R, then not P.
Okay.
Okay, well now comes this isolate. All right, if you have an R, then I'm going to give you a not P. Hey, and guess what? According to this, you have an R. So what are you going to get? That R kind of serves as a trigger. So if you have an R, then you're going to be awarded the not P medal. And lo and behold, you do have an R. So I award you with the not P medal. So this kind of a guy right here is sometimes I call it a trigger, because it really didn't affect the conclusion, but it kind of sets it off. If R, then not P, and then you kind of pull the trigger. I have an R. Oh, okay. You get the not P. I don't know if that makes any sense. So a single letter like that can often kind of just trigger the thing to get started. So usually a single letter has to go way at the end, like I did. So
does a single letter have a single answer there? Which is, in this case, the negation of P?
Not P.
That's the answer?
Yes, this is your conclusion right here. So this is kind of, if I'm going to highlight this, so this is where I did the problem right there. This was what was given. This was just an illustration I did, but here's where I really did the work. And if you look in the back of the book, they should have a not P. But of course, that doesn't tell you a whole lot about how they got there. By the way, don't look in the back because it's an even.
Question for you. If you go up to R, if then not P, under that, you just brought the R down?
Well, not down. I brought it over from here. See? Okay.
Why do we do that? And
well, we were given three premises. Here they are. 1, 2, 3. Well, this is number 1 rewritten right here. We just did the contrapositive. This is number 2. I simply moved it up in a different order. And then number 3 I just brought straight over. So where did this come from? That was a conclusion from putting these two chain reactions together. So the 3 red, if you guys can see the color, right?
Yeah.
The 3 red things that's what they gave us. And then I had to rewrite them, put them in the right order. Well, 2 of them gave me a conclusion. Then with the 3rd, I could finally draw my final conclusion. I should say final. So, generally speaking, you take your premises and you just copy them. But the way they were, they didn't chain. So okay, then I had to do this contrapositive thing, flip a couple of them around. Now I got my chain reaction. The only thing that's new that I didn't show you last time was when you have a single letter, it can act like a trigger to then give you another conclusion. And like you said, Brian, usually you're going to get just a single letter conclusion then.
Okay.
You'll see there are some in the book too. I think. Yeah. Just turn the page back to page 163. About 3/4 of the way down the page, there are 3 examples there. Take a look at the first, or 4 examples. See the first one? If P, then Q.
If P, then Q.
And then the next premise is P. What's the conclusion? Well, if P, then you get Q.
Right.
So there's an example just like this one where you have a trigger and you have a single letter answer. So. Okay, guys, what do you want to do next?
I think I'm good there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Yeah, I filled up your mind again, and I'm one of the reasons you have no life, right? It doesn't make me. Hey, by the way, did you guys have a decent weekend?
Not bad. Just
yeah, real busy for me, so.
But not at work, at least.
No, not for me, for once.
Well, at least you got away from it, even though you were busy.
Yeah, it was a lot of traveling, just going up north and stuff. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes vacations can wear you out too.
Yep. Yep. Same thing. I got to get the kids ready for bed and all kinds of stuff here.
So I guess what both of you are saying is that's probably enough for tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I think I'm good too. So.
Okay, I'll put the video up, guys. Thanks for being a part of this. And Patrick, sorry I had a little trouble getting logging in and getting your link, and we'll try to improve on that next time.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye.
Thanks, Ron. Have a good evening.
See you guys.